Another week, we're into fall patterns. This is our first full October fishing report. Last time we talked to you, we were talking about October getting here. Now we are actually in October, so you're going to see the first October date on here for our title fishing report here on October, and we're getting after it. It's already, oh boy, October 3rd. Yeah, October 3rd. Oh man, where did the time go? We're seeing all kinds of things happening on the water. It's interesting to say the least. And I say that because I would say we're seeing a pretty non-typical end of September into fall transition, where we usually have cooler than what I would say current water temps. It's usually not in the mid to upper 60s when we get into the month of October. It's just usually not the case. Now the trees are doing their thing and the look of fall is there, but we're just seeing things just slowly transitioning, and the fish are kind of in that same holding pattern. In fact, I've had many reports of some fish still out deep drop shots, deep weed lines, deep rock stuff, still holding on to some of those summer patterns, which, you know, you can throw the book at these fish some days. You can't always get them to bite. Finding them and locating where the fish are is oftentimes half the battle, and this time of year is no slouch to that. It's not untypical to have to really work hard to find your fish. What we found this last week is we'd catch a fish, move, catch a fish, move, catch a fish, move. One day we probably caught, oh boy, probably only 15, 20 bass in a 5-hour stretch, and we probably moved 15 times. Bunch of pike mixed in, so there were a lot of pike biting on top of the largemouth, so there were fish being caught, just not our target species, which was largemouth bass. So we had a stick and move. It was get on a spot, really dissect it, catch one, move, same thing, catch one, move. It was quite interesting to see how that unfolded that particular day, and we had to work our tail off. Where on other lakes and other bodies of water, you just go catch them. They're chomping, they're doing their thing, but on certain bodies of water, they're kind of in that limbo, kind of in that period of time where they're not necessarily just chowing or schooling up, and you gotta put the miles on. You gotta be moving, you gotta be getting after these fish, you gotta be throwing moving baits. We did a lot of swim jigs, chatterbaits, lipless crankbaits, all that kind of stuff. I did spend some time in Minnetonka, and again, that bite it's tough to get on consistent pattern fish. You can catch some fish, you can get after them, and you can always stumble across them. That's like any body of water, but we really had to move and work hard to stay on top of these fish. The weeds are still up against the bank. There's still weeds in between the docks. Usually this time of year, I can fan cast in between dock lines and not get snagged up all the time. You cannot do that. Generally speaking out there, we're just probably a week to 10 days behind if I had to guess. A lot of docks still in the water, although they're pulling docks as we speak this weekend, and you're gonna see that change. But you can see here on Brody's rod, this was one of the lures we've been catching a lot of fish on, just throwing that swim jig. And you see that cool looking, imitating what the fish are feeding on. This looks like a bluegill, looks like a perch, looks like kind of anything in that 3 to 4 inch range, which is a lot of the bait fish these fish are feeding on, is gonna be this profile. And the reason I'm fishing a swim jig is because I can fish it pretty aggressively. It's a moving bait, although I can slow it down and let it go down into pockets. I can skip it under a dock. I can throw it into a lily pad. I can throw it into pencil reeds, and I can fish it over open, expansive weed flats. Let's say if I'm in that 4, 5, 6, 7 feet of water and I want to just cover area, I can effectively take that all-terrain swim jig and I can just reel it in nice and slow, just like you would a spinnerbait, a chatterbait, or anything of the sorts, and really cover water. Or I can pitch it and I can slowly hop it or swim it back to the boat in pockets, around docks, around cover, whatever it might be. Very versatile presentation that catches a lot of fish. And I'm using the more natural colors, whether it's an ayu or a perch imitator or something that looks like a bluegill or a baby sunfish. That seems to be what some of these fish are really feeding in on the bodies of water that I'm fishing. So I'm always cognitive of what these fish are feeding on and trying to match what they're doing. I had a bite on Chisago this week where a lot of fish were feeding on bluegills, so I matched bluegills. I had a bite out west where the perch were everywhere. Every time you reel in a lure, there were perch that big chasing up to the boat. So what did I do? I matched my moving bait, which was a chatterbait at the time, to really resemble a perch. I added some orange and yellow, dull orange and yellow tails. I added some chartreuse to some of it. I had a gold blade. I did some things that really mimicked, let's say, perch or bluegill, what these fish are feeding on, and paid close attention to that. You should start to see your bite, generally speaking, move shallower and shallower. And we're gonna see that this week, I think, especially when we have some of these cooler temps. We're gonna have some highs in the 60s, finally. No more of this 80-degree stuff in fall. 85 or 87 degrees this week. The boys are sweating out there trying to play football, and it was like that even this weekend to some degree. It rained on Saturday pretty good. We got a lot of rain. It was still very humid, and then things cooled off on Sunday, and it felt pretty good today for the most part. So I would encourage you to keep active, keep moving, keep chasing down these fish, get after them, and be fairly aggressive. They're going to be biting off impulse at times, especially if they're broken up. So if they're broken up, get after and cover the shorelines. We caught a lot of fish on the spinnerbait, chatterbait, lipless crankbait, swim jig. Those are going to be my workhorses here now, probably for the next few weeks. And then when water temps really dip into the low 50s and even into the 40s, you might have to slow down and throw maybe a smaller swim bait, maybe some hair jigs, maybe just actually throw a jig, maybe throw a wacky rig, a Senko, something to that effect to get some of these fish to bite. So you're going to see things change a lot here in the next few weeks as we get some truly colder temps, and that's typical. Just like in the spring, we see some of the most rapid changing conditions. You see that same effect in the fall when water temps are dipping. So when we have those hot, warm spring days and the water temps are kind of teetering up quickly, we see a lot of variables change in a short period of time, and you're going to see that same thing happen here in the fall. So stay on your toes, stay versatile, keep moving, keep chasing these fish, and have some fun. We topwater. I wanted to address some topwater patterns. We've had a lot of questions on, hey, should I be throwing topwater? You can always throw topwater. You can catch fish on a frog all summer long. But even in the fall here, when we see what we call the frog run, you'll see these frogs come across all the back roads and stuff, and highways even, and get into the water. The frog bites on, and throw your frog right up against that bank. We're getting really close to that pattern. Buzzbait, another topwater pattern, super effective. Jerkbait, stick baits, things like that can be really effective right now for just catching fish. I'll tell you what, we've seen a lot of muskies up in the shallows. A lot of muskies and big muskies chasing around our baits here in that 4 to 8 foot range. Walleyes too, there's walleyes up there starting to feed, starting to get down to the neck down areas, like lakes like Minnetonka where there's channels. You're starting to see the anglers bulk up on the channel mouths. I don't think we're quite there yet. We're a little bit away from that, but it's starting to become on top of people's minds. So, and that just tells me, hey, fall's here. We're thinking about it. I'm wearing a base layer today. This is the new Next to Skin base layer from Blackfish, and I call it out only because of next to skin. There's so many base layers out there and layering elements where I don't think as anglers we understand how it truly impacts our body temperature, how it truly impacts the performance of the garment. And you want a good quality next to skin, a base layer against your skin wicking moisture, because you can have all the nice warm elements on the outside, whether it's your Gale pullover, whether it's your Zenith jacket, whether it's your rain suit, could be any of that stuff. If you're sweating on the inside and it's sweating and perspirating up against your skin, it's going to keep your body feeling cool. So you want to pull that moisture, you want to wick that moisture away and keep the warmth in, and having a good quality next to skin. This is actually the NTS base layer from Blackfish. Having a good next to skin base layer first. You have the pants, you can't see them underneath my pants. You have the pants, the base layer pants, and the top, and then layer up after that. I promise you'll see a big difference on these very cold days on staying comfortable. And I wear this whether I'm out fishing, whether I'm ice fishing, whether I'm out on the football field helping the kids, or whatever it might be outside doing yard work. You can have a good quality base layer to keep your core staying warm. So next to skin, quality next to skin product is important, and that goes without being said for not just now, but throughout the entire ice fishing season as well. So you're going to see this new NTS base layer become a mainstay of mine for months to come. I'll probably be wearing this stuff, living in this stuff until we get into the middle part of April. At least that's what it seems like lately. So super excited for this next week. We're going to chase down some fish. We're going to probably do a little bit of West Metro stuff, probably some Northeast Metro stuff again. The Chisago area has been on fire, catching a lot of fish. A lot of fish. Ate the chatterbait last week, swim jig. Caught them doing that. A little bit of fish on the buzzbait. West Metro, it was probably more swim jig orientated because we had a little more heavier weed growth. So I left the chatterbait alone for a bit and then threw that all-terrain swim jig and caught fish doing that. But I anticipate here over the next few weeks, you're going to see those patterns continue. And as the weeds lay down, it's gonna be more effective. I can go after them a lot easier with spinnerbaits. I can beat the bank, I call it, when the docks are pulled away. That's when those banks light up. Once all these landowners and all these shoreline owners pull their docks, I'm telling you, some of these dock lines are some of the hottest spots on the lake that we can't effectively fish through when the docks are there. Now we can just go after them with a moving bait, whether it's that spinnerbait or that chatterbait, and just cover water and catch fish. Super fun time of the year to be out there. But again, just layer up, be comfortable, wear the appropriate clothing. You can always take a layer off. You can't put it on. Sorry, I sound like your parents, but it's the truth. So get out there, have some fun, enjoy the fall. Man, we're going to be talking ice fishing soon. As much as some of you won't hate hearing that, that's the truth. We're going to be talking ice fishing soon. So get out there, enjoy the rest of your fall, have some fun, be safe. See you next week.